Good morning, friends. This Sunday's festival is Quinquagesima. We're getting Sunday by Sunday, closer to Lent. This coming Wednesday is Ash Wednesday. And so we begin the preparation period of Lent. The intent today is the Holy Spirit as the fire of love. And so we immediately say, oh, well, that'll be pretty boring because we know lots about love. We know all about it from pop songs, and we know all about it from watching, Love at First Sight, or Getting Married at First Sight, or all the other wonderful things that we can watch on television. So it turns out that love is just a little bit more dimensional than what we see in those sorts of things, and maybe what our experience is. And if we listen carefully to the aspects of the epistle and the gospel, if we listen very closely to the message behind the text, then we start to get a deeper understanding of love, and in particular, the aspect of the Holy Spirit as love, which is what we are celebrating today. These are the colours today for the Holy Spirit. And right at the very beginning, the collect right at the very start tells us what the story is. Our Holy Spirit, who has taught us that all our doings without love are nothing worth, pour into our hearts that most excellent gift of love, the very bond of peace and of all virtues. So that's a wonderful aspiration to ask for. And now, just to make it clear to everybody, the collect goes on, without which soever liveth is counted dead before thee. This is a pretty drastic thing, isn't it? This all sort of sounded pretty peachy up to then. So we have love in our hearts. We sort of probably think we're experts in love. We've experienced all sorts of different aspects of it in our life. And then we have that little phrase, without this love you are counted as dead in God's eyes. So, even though this sounds a little bit drastic, this is a wake-up. So now wake up. We all wake up and we say, maybe this is not all squidgy-midgy stuff. Maybe this is just a little bit more serious. Maybe this is the aspect of living that we really need to understand deeply. So in the epistle that Matto read this morning, this lovely passage from St. Paul, which is a favourite for lots of people, often used at wedding services and so on. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not love, I am become as sounding brass or tinkling cymbal. And then the list goes on of all the wonderful things that you can do. Have faith to move mountains, to do this, to do that, spectacular things. But without love, they count as nothing. Quite apart from anything else, it's very interesting to realise that when Jesus is doing healing, the connection between faith and the success of the healing, not all the disciples, when they went out to practice, Jesus sent them out to practice. Not every time they did it, it worked properly. It's a two-way thing, as we have discussed before. An aspect of the faith on one side, the faith on the other, and the releasing of the process through the healing process of Christ. But we won't go into that today. But if you've got faith to such an extent that you can move mountains, but without love, it carries absolutely no spiritual benefit. So you might think, wow, wait a minute, how did we get that much faith without any spiritual benefit? Well, that's the message. Love always must carry the day, must be the substrate, must be the foundation. That's the point of this particular festival. And then St. Paul goes on to say, when we're learning about this stuff, we just learn in part and a little bit, and it's all a bit misty and so on. Another translation reads, we see things, everything in a mirror. We see things in a mirror, and then we turn around and we see them straight. So we know that feeling. We know when we're trying to understand the deep aspects of the Christian religion as Jesus wanted us to be aware of it. We want to understand this change of awareness, this lifting of consciousness, which Jesus is asking us to do. He had 3 years to walk and talk, 3 years of signs and wonders, 3 years of saying, wake up, everybody, wake up. You must lift your awareness if you are to enter the kingdom of heaven. Where's the kingdom of heaven? Is it over there? Is it over there? No, it's in your hearts. So you start there. You start from where you are. And all these messages that are coming through from the New Testament and from the recorded Gospels, all those messages are on that message. That's it. Today, we're learning about love and the aspects of you must have it. All these other things count for nothing. And then in Matthew, this lovely story about the owner of a vineyard, a householder. Now, remember when we've talked about the aspects of things being counterintuitive, when things sound a bit wonky and back to front, when things are not fitting in with our common sense, our earthly common sense, this is a wake up. Wake up, Jesus is trying to tell us something. So this is a lovely story. This person needed labourers. Goes out early in the morning, goes out periodically during the day, and then at the end calls them all in. And then he gives them what he promised to give them. And they start to grumble. Wait a minute, we've been working here. And he says, no, you weren't listening. I told you what the story was. And you worked for that. So let's run the film backwards. Always good to run films backwards. You can understand things. The kingdom of heaven is like this. Who do you think he is? He's God, or the Christ, and he's looking to see who is working in his aspect, in his knowledge, in his perception, who is in line with his evolution, who is expanding themselves and drawing closer to him, who is working on the path of Christianity. So these are the labourers. That's us. Here we are. And what were we promised? Well, we were promised something or other. We were promised the kingdom of heaven. We all come with different histories. All these labourers came with their own different histories. And so Jesus is mixing everything up in this lovely story. He's reminding us that when you're looking at other people who are maybe on the path with you, colleagues, people you know, some of them do this, some of them do that. And you say, oh, gee, why wasn't I chosen to do that? Why wasn't I chosen to do that thing over there? I would have done that really well. That person's not very good at that. And all that stuff. You know, we're good at all that sort of second guessing and all that business. That's the little human mind, the little monkey mind, chatter, comparisons and all that sort of thing. So, when they're in the vineyard, they are there working on the path towards the Christ within. And they get the reward not only from that point, but from the point before where they have come to the vineyard with their own history. And Jesus wraps it all up right at the end. So the last shall be first and the first last. Little piece of irony, just turns it around. For many are called, but few are chosen. We are all called to Christ and chosen to go on to do other things. It's up to us what we do with the talents we have. And that's that lovely message that comes through that funny mixed up story. So as always, I recommend that you think about these things during the week and start with the intent. This very powerful intent, the fire of love. The fire of love puts us in line with the evolution. What is that? That is the development of Christ within us, the opening up of the path for us as we work in our own vineyard. Don't worry about who's doing anything to the left and right. We are just doing our work. We are expanding in our way. We don't grumble about what happens to other people. This is our journey. And we walk and work so that we can be chosen. We walk and work so that we can draw closer to Christ within. And that's the message of the preparation. These preparation Sundays as we get closer to Easter. If we want to be part of that extraordinary experience of Easter, we have to start our preparation now. We have to get up early and get on with it. So, as usual, I urge you to think about these things during the week.